Good morning. My name is Bisi Ibitayo, and I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Banter with Bisi. But before I go on, I really must apologize for the lateness in coming on. It was circumstances beyond my control. I really do apologize. And so if you know anyone who tuned in and tuned up again, please, could you please call them? We're back today, and we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. Women should collaborate more than compete. And so once again, I say welcome. Tell them, invite them, create a watch party from your YouTube channel, ask people to come on, create a watch party from your Facebook page and all. Let people come on and join. It's going to be a very exciting time. My guest is here in the house already. And so I'm going to invite her in to bring herself in. I'm going to bring her in right now, and I'm excited to have her. Good morning, Tope. How are you today? Oh, there, what happened there? Hello, Tope. We lost that connection, but I'll wait for her to rejoin. Like I said, the topic we're dealing with today is women should collaborate more than compete. And I have someone very interesting today to do us the honors of sharing this with me. We're going to be doing the banter together. So Tope, we wait for you to please come back on. Like I said, if you know anyone who needs to hear this topic, if you know anyone who needs to be a part of this conversation, you know the beauty of Banter with Bisi is that it's a live chat and everybody can contribute one way or the other. We can all join in the conversation. And so we'll just wait for Tope to come back on. And the first thing I like to go on while I wait for Tope to please reconnect and come back on is I like to ask, what exactly is it to collaborate? We're talking about more of collaboration than competition. What exactly does it mean to collaborate? If you look in the dictionary, collaboration means we work together, to work together with others to achieve a common goal. That means you're not doing it alone. There are other people who are working with you. And what is the objective of this? You're working together to achieve a common goal. That means before you set out, there's a goal that you're aspiring for, and everybody understands this goal, and you're all working together to achieve this as we wait for Tope to reconnect. And then what does it mean to compete? I like the way one of the dictionaries put it. It says to compete means to do battle. To compete means to be in battle. To compete means to be in rivalry with another person. You're fighting for what? It's a battle. Of course, a battle is not a nice thing. It's not a nice place to be. A battle is everybody is demonstrating power, demonstrating authority. So it says competition means to be in battle or in rivalry with another person for the same position or for the same thing. And so what we're saying here today is we're talking to women, we're talking to ladies, that we should endeavor to collaborate more than compete. And so, like I said, we're waiting for Tope to reconnect. I think there's something wrong with her connection right here. And so we're going to be looking at this from different angles. We're going to ask ourselves, why is it that women compete? I think we have her back on. Okay, Tope, you need to put your camera on. We're on. We can't see you, so your camera needs to be on. We need to have your camera on. Okay. Okay, so we're going to be looking at it. Tope and I are going to be looking at this from different angles. We're going to ask ourselves the question, why do women compete? I heard Facebook is not working, so if you're not getting through to Facebook, could you please go to my YouTube channel? So we're going to be talking about it from different angles. But before we go on, I'd like to ask my guest to please introduce herself and tell us who she is and what she does. Welcome, Tope. It's so good to have you back. You're looking so colorful, very bright. So please introduce yourself to our guest and tell us who you are and what you do exactly.
Okay, my name is Tope Mark, and I am an entrepreneur, and I do many things. What I stand for is teaching people how to grow and live their best lives. So on your view, I am a co-host in my video. Online, I'm a life coach and a wealth coach and a growth coach. But I like to find myself as a teacher who uses multiple platforms to educate people. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to teach. I'm happy to share. I'm happy to learn.
Very good. Thank you again, Tope. Welcome again to Banter with Bisi, and we're going to be doing this together. I remember when I put up the first post, the e-flyer, saying that you were going to be my guest today. I recall that somebody made a comment there. He said, I know her, that lady that smiles a lot and dances a lot as well. He said he was a male actually. He said, this is some conversation I must be part of. And I really must say there's so much life that flows from you. You're an exciting person to watch in so many areas and for what you do also. So Tope, we're going to dig into this right away. Why do women compete? why is there so much rivalry? I mean, it's not the same when you look at the men. I mean, why is it that women are naturally competitive, really? Would you like to come in?
So let me just try to find a way to explain this is competition amongst women. Largely comes from the fact that as women were brought up to vision of a man, like we're meant to, there's a primal competition that happens between women to women that is even largely subconscious. So it's not like the average woman is not even conscious that she's competing. She just doesn't even know. But when she sees another person looking good, she doesn't just say, "You look good." Her first reaction is to look at herself, that I hope I'm also looking good. Because it's sort of like, if anybody is going to see, to be seen as well. So, and I think it stems from history. In Africa, in our culture, women sort of like, the prettiest woman gets the best guy. And then the prettiest woman tends to be the one that has all things aligned. The king picks the most beautiful woman. The people pick the most beautiful woman. So every time it seems like the more you look well put together, advantage for success in life. Then go into polygamy. When you have 3 or 4 women, it's major competition to get whose attention. Then go into sibling rivalry. You are in that contest with your siblings to be the one daddy likes, the one mommy likes. So we are brought up in an environment where we compete, male and female. The only difference is with men, they are brought up through to understand the importance of collaboration. Women don't have that much sporting influence to teach us not about collaboration. So, but I'm happy we're changing the narrative a little. We're changing the narrative a little by little.
Thank you very much for that, Tope. I got what you said there. And so there's some form of rivalry. There's some form of competition. Can I ask this? Would you say, in essence, like when I talk, would you say in essence that a lot of times competition comes as a factor of insecurity? Would you say that?
Obviously, a lot of there are 2 sides. Most competition comes out of insecurity and inferiority complex, and the lesser amount of competition is just based on the fact that some people just have this desire to be the best. So I can't be in a team where I'm not the best. So they have a natural competitiveness from when they're young. They always want to be the one getting all of that. So it's not really born out of complex. It's just born out here that if I'm anywhere, I have to be the best. But most people have complex because we are measuring ourselves. There's this measuring ourselves against an ideal that is, but we've created this picture, we've bought it online, we bought it on picture of what is ideal, the ideal parenting, the ideal body shape, the ideal kind of success. So we're not competing that this person seems to have the ideal success and I don't have that ideal. So we tend to now find ourselves in that place. So it's that complex that pushes competition as opposed to collaboration.
Thank you very much for that, Tope. I read somewhere, and we all know as it were, that one woman alone has power. We know the power a woman, the female gender has. It now says collectively we have impact. I'll take that again. Tope Makodige alone has power. We listen to her, she's amazing and what she does. But we said collectively there's impact, bringing in the program you have on Your View and whatever. Can you talk to this? Can you speak to this?
So I'll say, this is how I'll say it. Every human being has power, has strength, and we all have weaknesses. So ideally, when you come together as a collective, as a group, your blind spot might be someone else's primary strength. That weakness one person has might be somebody else's primary strength. And so there you have a case where there's a strengthening of each other, highlighting all the strengths. Then when you come together, you have just strength, because each individual's weakness is already complemented by another person's strength. So indeed, the impact you can have collectively is stronger. Into what we do on Your View as a platform, as a show, the four of us on the platform every time come from different angles. My area of weakness at a point in time, someone else will pick it, someone else will fight that area, someone else will speak up to that area. I might be blindsided by my partiality. I might be partial to some areas. I might be biased in some areas that I'm unreasonable when I analyze those issues, and I will bring that to the table. And someone else sees it in a more neutral point of view because the person doesn't share my bias. So we have a more holistic impact because it's not just one person's view at all the time. It's all very point of views comes in.
So we're saying here basically that collaboration brings balance and it brings excellence, like you've talked about. And I'm thinking collaboration now, and I'm thinking a sport my husband loves a lot, which is football. And I'm saying to myself, if we had everybody on the pitch as strikers, you won't get much. But we have the defense, we have the midfielders, we have the strikers, and so that creates the balance. That's the collaboration, and so they're able to achieve what they want to do. Now, I'd like to ask you, Tope, still looking at this issue of collaboration. Is collaboration. I've had instances in life. I mean, in this my 55 years. Okay, maybe not 55 years. Let's say maybe 15, from age 15 to where one has gotten one's fingers burnt. I mean, trying to do things with people, and I've had stories of people who have done business with other people that it didn't exactly work. So how safe is this collaboration now that we're talking about amongst ourselves as women?
Okay, so I'll just say that collaboration is very, very volatile. Collaboration is extremely risky, but collaboration is very, very necessary because to a large, like we say, we need each other. We need it to go further. One person will chase 1,000, and then you become 2, and you're not chasing 2,000, you're chasing 10,000. So the multiplication effect of having collaboration is stronger. And I think that because people have been burnt, they shy away from collaborating. Extremely important to collaborate. Now, there are different forms of collaboration, and it is not in every. It's because we're not as informed as we should that makes us feel like we've been burnt. One of the biggest challenges with collaboration is we don't have it all figured out. We don't have that tough conversation. It's like talking about marriage, and you don't know how many children do you want to have, how we manage our finances. Many people get standing. How would you want me to control money, or would you want to control my money? We don't have those tough conversations before going into partnership. So many partnerships are born out of friendships, and usually partnership out of friendship gets to end in challenges because there's a lot of sentiment involved. That is why it seems tough for women to have partnerships, because men tend to be not as sentimental as women. Then we see they deal with the issues. This is a business. How do we want to have the shareholding of the company? Who is going to be in charge of the day-to-day running of the company? Who is going to be part-time? Who's going to be full-time? Who is on ground to manage the finances? So they have those tough questions in most cases. Women go with, she's my friend, she's good with sewing, me, I'm good with marketing, so we'll come together, we'll design this fashion line, she will be sewing, I will be marketing. That's not discussion.
So we go, so you say women, we go with emotions.
We go with emotions, and it sets us up for failure. So, and then we have expectations that were not clearly written, clearly spelled out in the beginning. So we go with emotions, with expectations, and we don't have the conversation of those expectations. So when we get into the business relationship, we find out things that are uncomfortable for us, and then we're surprised. But we don't realize that you did not verbalize your expectation in the first place. So you cannot complain if those expectations are not being met. You didn't set an agenda. You just said,
Fantastic.
let's do this together. Some people have, instead of business without even registering the business, they just come up with a name, open Instagram page, and then they start supporting each other. I believe that it is very important that before you go into any sort of collaboration, you first understand yourself. Understand yourself. Who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Because I can come into a partnership and I'm expected to be sending emails every week. And I'm not a writer. I would rather you tell me do a video every week. I will do 3 times in a week. I can even do every day. But asking me to write 3 times in a week, responding to investors, write a correspondence on. So into partnership, you need to understand your strength and what you're bringing to the table. It's a tough conversation to have, because you would have to confront your weakness most times, because women are emotional. We take it personal when we are being told of our weak areas. You are not a good accounting person. You don't understand numbers. They don't see that not understanding numbers is not a crime. It's just that you don't understand numbers. It does not make you less a human being. It's a fact. It is not a condemnation of your personality. It's concerning the fact that you don't understand numbers. So what you say, let's bring in a number person, or let's pay a number person. But most times when we hear those things as women, we internalize it as a negative comment, creating a dent on our career. And so we start having competitiveness within the collaboration. We start seeing our partner as someone who doesn't value us, or who doesn't appreciate what we're bringing to the table, and those things start coloring your conversations going forward. It's a very, very important thing that before you go into partner, know yourself well. Know your strength, know your weaknesses, breaking points, know what would hurt you, know what would destabilize you. And when you know that, verbalize it. Which is why it's not for children, it's not for people, it's for mature minds. And if you feel that you're not mature enough, then bring in a third party, sort of like a mediator or a neutral person who will facilitate that collaboration effectively. If not, one person will overpower the other, and the other person, it tends to break up later. It just tends to break up later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me come in there where you said know yourself. That's why I said initially something about insecurity as individuals. A lot of times, many of us don't shed the light. We don't beam the light on ourselves. We cannot deal with who we are. And so when you don't know who you are, you don't have an understanding of who you are, it's difficult for you to be able to work with other people. And I'll give a very good example. And there was a time in my life I ventured into a kind of business that I knew wasn't me, right? And so it was more, would I call it a collaboration? I had this group of friends that were doing the same kind of business, and I just kind of assumed that I could dive into it like they were doing, and it was not a big deal as it were. But the point is, I didn't know myself enough before going into that kind of business. They understood who they were. They understand the tough they could operate in. I didn't understand that. I just assumed that I could do what they were doing. And so a lot of times they were talking over my head. And so it wasn't working for me. I had to back out. So I believe it's essential for us to know ourselves. But I'd also like to say this, would you also say that before you get into anything, and when I'm talking collaboration, to those who are listening here, we're talking about collaboration, women doing things together, women helping others, ourselves as women, since it's international, we're celebrating women this month. Would you also say that values come to play here, Tope? Because it's going to be difficult for me, Bisi. There's certain values I hold highly, and then I want to do some things with Tope whose values are quite different from mine. Would we be able to agree? I'm thinking of, can two work together except they agree? How does the values we hold on to strongly, how does it come to play here, Tope?
So I would say that it's a bedrock. It's the bedrock of any partnership. You must be able to understand the person you're going into a partnership with. See, there's some been in partnerships in and out. It's been in, they've broken it, it's been in it, it's another one right now. And one of the challenges is about shared values. You're in a partnership with someone and you get a contract, and the kickback from that contract has to run through your company. And your partner is saying, let's do it. And you feel like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. This person is not even doing business with me. He just wants to use my company to carry out a means to money. And then you have this, it's about values. If there's somebody else you can have that conversation with, the person will be like, 100%, I agree with you. This doesn't make sense. Another person is putting profits above every other thing. So the importance of having shared values cannot be overemphasized. There are things that even as Christians, even between Christians, are accepted by some Christians, and other Christians will be like, no, I
can't do this.
Backs is not the fact that you saw opportunity to steal from God. God does not bless that way. Somebody else will feel like, Yahoo is the way God blesses people. God is depopulating the enemy and increasing the good ones. I know someone who and he has a younger brother who is an internet fraudster, and he prays for his brother. He encourages his brother and prays that God will bless his brother. And you know, like your brother is an internet fraudster. Like, I don't understand it, but that's the person's values. He has compartmentalized it in a way that he can rationalize it. So it is very important that you have shared values. Some businesses want to give away. They want to do CSR. They want to do SR, blessing the society. But you have partners who don't agree with it. They believe the bottom line should be before you think about giving or helping the society. When you guys now have like you're locking heads together. Let me bring it into your view. So now we have Christian, Muslim, and Tiani. It's in between. She doesn't send your whatever religion you have. She believes there's a creator, and now people would want to sow discord. You know, they would come in and say, "Oh, I don't like this person. I don't like her at all. I don't like this." And we've learned over time, just say, you don't like, somebody else likes. We like ourselves, we're wonderful. You know, so because we understand at the core of what we're doing, is not to outshine, but to allow every voice to be heard. So there is less competition. I want to talk. Let me fight. Let me be heard. So you say your own. I will say my own. I don't, and sometimes these things were not coming. It's just because we have those same values of we respect one another, we support one another. So you don't need to say, I get it. Largely, I'll say that we've just been blessed on that show to have such values that was not written out, but somehow Mariah prayed. I was on the show from the beginning, and we pray about this thing, and it happened that we keep attracting the right people to ourselves. But it is better to have your values written out and it is communicated so that and that's why we talk about self-discovery, knowing yourself. When you know yourself, you know where your values points are, you know what you cannot cross, you know your values. But when you know yourself, you'll be shocked at yourself. Like, you will do things that will shock you. You did not know that you could do those things. Say that you don't know you can steal until you are confronted with serious money and you look away. Some people steal and they did not know that they could steal. Like, they did not know. It just happened on them. And there are some things, areas in my life that I've done things. Last year during the pandemic, I literally shocked myself. I was disappointed in myself. I made open apology, hidden apology, because life happens to you. But this is me with the right, I have my values, and yet things will happen. It's important that, yes, you know yourself. Yes, you verbalize your deal breakers, and when things go wrong, you must understand and have the ability to forgive one another. Very important.
Good. Let me come in here. Thank you very much for that. Okay, let me come in, still talking about values being essential if we're going to get it right as women, since we're talking to women basically this morning. And I'll just give an example like that. Tope and Bisi are friends, right? But values quite different. And so Tope takes her children to very high fee-paying schools, right? But Bisi cannot afford that, right? Tope's values and her reasons for doing this are quite clear to her. But Bisi now sees this as a competition. Of course, they're both married to brothers, right? And so rather than Bisi step down and examine the reasons why her children to go to certain schools, Bisi now brings herself into competition with Tope and now begins to hound her husband. On the need for her own children to attend the same school that Tope's children are attending. And so a lot of times as women, because we do not focus on what is important to us. Meanwhile, what values your family hold on to are like Christian school, this kind of school, but probably, and I don't mean this in any derogatory, but maybe what Tope feels is important to her is it has to be a full British curriculum school. It has to have this, the head of school must be a nationality that is not a Nigerian thing. And so what happens? I put myself busy in a spot because I'm trying to live, to act, and to just be like Tope. And so I'm in competition with Tope, even though Tope doesn't know it. Tope is living her life and she's very cool with what she's doing. It's working for Tope and her husband. Bisi gets herself tied up in a knot. She puts her husband under pressure and she keeps going, Demola, this is what we have to do. So if we understand our values as individuals, like you said, agreeing with what you said, and we stick this out as individuals from the onset, we will not find ourselves in getting into some form of unhealthy rivalry. So in parenting also, in business, in marriage, Tope is looking at Bisi. She doesn't exactly know. Instead of probably Tope learning from Bisi, okay, you say you are 50 something, you've been in marriage for XYZ. She's probably seen me as some kind of competition. How can we address this? How can people begin to sit down? And I mean this seriously because we tie ourselves up as women in unnecessary issues and pressures. What would you say to this Tope? Please help me. And I want you to help those who are listening right now.
Have a strong sense of identity, and I think it starts from when you were really young. You must have a strong sense of identity. I am a very happily stubborn person. I know what I want. I don't care if you agree with me or not. And I think that it's informed my marriage because my parents are an Edo person. My parents were against it, but I'm happy in my marriage. And you know, there's some little things, some people missed out on their life partner because they could find it to convince their parents that this is the person I feel strongly God has chosen for me. And then they let their parents determine the clock. I feel strongly that we must know ourselves. Like, you must know who you are. And you must understand to healthily admire good without feeling you need to become that person. So I admire your success. I admire the good you're doing from you. I am not you, because no matter how I try, I will not do it the way you would do it. So here is my son's birthday is going to be 5. I have never done birthday before, ever. Like, I have not done a party to celebrate birthday for anyone, ever. The only thing I do is buy a cake, leave the house, eat. Is it that I don't have people that do it around? Yeah, but I just made a deliberate decision that I need to do come church. And that's our local pitching of saying, until I'm not going to act like I have arrived at it. Even if everybody is saying, oh, what's this thing, no. And it is very important that you know yourself, that the fact that I am not exhibiting lavish, that I am less than those exhibiting it. But the challenge, many people are born the bees, they are, so they are trying to be somebody else. And as long as you don't know who you are, you're trying to be somebody else. But when you know who you are, you're content with your person, you're content with, I can go without wearing earrings for weeks, go without wearing makeup for weeks. You tell me I'm looking clinical, and like, this is my mistake. The way it is. Oh, you're looking darker. That's the way it was. Sometimes you cannot even burn your skin when the sun is hot. You suddenly start bleaching because somebody feels like my skin is suddenly looking darker, because I know that once the weather gets cold, my skin will look lighter. This is the way life is. Understand yourself. Get comfortable with yourself. Don't put yourself under undue pressure, because, like it or not, every relationship with would exhibit things different from you. They would exhibit areas that they would do things in a way that is uncomfortable for you. So it is very, very that you as a person know yourself and accept yourself. That's on one end. On another end is sometimes competition is good for you. Competition can push you to do more. It can push you to succeed.
Yeah.
So you might be a laid back person, but being around someone that is always going for the next thing. This month we're setting new goals. This month you might feel like that you're being under pressure, but the person is dragging you upwards.
Absolutely.
So you're being forced to be better. You're being forced to. I'm not a fashionista, but your friends keep saying, no, that dress does not work. That color does not work. Being around them has made you become more conscious of how you look. Then some other case, somebody is saying, no, you're not raising your children well. Buy them a piano. My kids have a piano. I've not gotten a music teacher yet, but a friend of mine just made me feel like, no, how can your children not know? Everybody plays instrument nowadays. Okay. How about you can afford it? So I did. So some competition sort of are good because it pushes you positively into doing what you probably would have done in the first place. So I think that we need to think we should talk to ourselves. In 2016, I spent the entire year doing affirmations on Instagram. Like every day I had an affirmation. And sometimes we might not be the ideal person we want to be. So what do? Write what we want to be and create affirmations into growing into that person. So if you are currently watching and you get anxious and you compete consciously and unconsciously, then it's an affirmation that I am comfortable being myself. I am comfortable among people better than me. I am comfortable being the best. I am comfortable being different. So you tell yourself over and over again until you realize that, oh wow, being different. I'm actually comfortable being unique. I'm actually comfortable, you become that person because you're telling yourself that I might not be that person yet, but I will be that person. So you might be watching and you're collaborating. You tell yourself, I collaborate, I understand, I support my friends support me. God brings me fantastic collaborations. You speak it into life. It's also important because we've heard it all our lives. Don't work with people. Don't work with people. You've heard it all your life. That's the only thing that has been programmed into your brain to reverse engineer what you've been born to do, how you've been born to see collaborations. You need to now undo that.
I like that. I like what you said. We need to undo certain things. I mean, so talking collaboration, like I said when we started the program, I said one of the dictionary definitions of collaboration that got to me and that stayed with me is that working together with others to achieve a common goal. Let me bring this collaboration into the area of marriage now. A lot of times people are in marriage, but they do not know where to turn to, who to turn to for advice. And I'll give you what we hear. I'm a minister in the Church of God, and I hear a lot of times, I hear things like, you're getting married, though. Even your parents, everybody around you, and they're going, in Yoruba, they'll say, you're going to your husband's household. Don't let the third party hear what you're going through. Whatever happens stays between you and Mike, I don't know your husband's name. Whatever happens to you stays between you and your husband. Don't talk to anybody external. And so I'm saying to myself, if Tope is not walking with people who can teach her and guide her in this area of marriage, which I would call collaboration, that is walking or listening to an Ikepo who has been married XYZ number of years and has these experiences, how is she going to get better? So there's a likelihood that so many areas of our life suffer, and I'm bringing it into the area of marriage now, just because we are not collaborating. Of course, you know your values, you know who you are, you know what you believe in, and so what should you be doing and how should we be going out to look for people to assist us to grow and to groom us in this institution?
We hear, that's why I said you need to be you need to be a mature, a bit stubborn, you know. I'll share one of the advice I got before getting married, that you shouldn't tell your husband how much you're earning. Don't tell your husband to keep a little aside. But that's contrary to the way I want to live my life. That's contrary to the fact, the values that I want to bring. It's contrary to what I was taught in marriage counseling class. So thank you, mommy. Wonderful. I'm not going to tell please. I won't. So it is the self-discovery is an important journey every human being should go through. Self-discovery. You must know yourself. That's number one. Number two is, I know they say don't bring a third party. This was a personal thing, because I, at a point in my life, a third party. I really felt we needed a third party. I took third party because I told my husband, I said, we went through counseling before getting married, and me, I'm having this issue with the same counselors that counseled us before we got married, and if you counsel us, and he didn't agree, he didn't buy it. So I think that there are different solutions there's no one solution for everybody. So we need to mix and match, and we need to seek wisdom we need to see, because for me, at point, it was just a prayer thing. We went through that phase, we went through that challenge, and right now we're bringing a third party. We didn't have to. Do you understand? Though I felt that we would have gotten over, it's like when they say mentoring, we would have had more periods if we had mentoring. We would have not had as many times of strife if we had mentoring. But we had to wing it by ourselves, and thankfully we winged it right. So we would have winged it on the wrong side, and we would have ended up out of the marriage that could have been salvaged if counsel, mentoring, someone to talk to that was a professional. I have friends that went to see therapists, proper therapists, and they stayed in their marriage. So, however, I couldn't get my own marriage to therapist level. I couldn't get them. I think I could to even a church counselor. But we won right. Like the winging went well. So I think that it is important that we understand what works for us. For women, especially when it comes to, because they're like mini marriages. You're into business with someone, you're to that person. Your financial future is tied to that person, following with what he said or she said he was going to do. So when you find yourself in such, you need to understand this is a mini marriage. We need to make this thing work, because if this business financial future, my investment into this business has crumbled. So able to try different things. There are different ways there are many ways to kill a rat. There are many ways to skin a rat. You should try multiple ways to but be open to multiple ways. Don't lock your mind to this is the way Tokwe said. This is the way Mr. Pastor Bisi, if it doesn't go this way, it means it's not right. No, it might not be the way for you. The same God that fed Elijah in different ways. So you might need to be, your through might come through a raven today, and tomorrow is through a widow. So hi God, to this is the way God is going to do it. This is the way collaborations work. That let's be open to the Holy Spirit to guide us, you know, at the end. Try not to want to spiritualize things too much, because when it comes to when you go to ritual, we're not able to give people principles that they can practically work on. And I like to give people steps. Let's pray. Yeah, I believe in praying, but principle steps. When you want to have collaborations, discuss conflict resolution mechanism. If things go wrong, who is the person we will talk to? Discuss what are the deal breakers for this relationship, this business. What are deal breakers? What are the bridge we will not cross? What are the values we would hold relationship in this collaboration? As a business, what are the things we will push? You know, because some businesses would use nudity to sell, and somebody will say in the partner, "I not use nudity. I don't support nudity." So discuss it. Are we going to be willing to use nudity to market our business? Is this something that, or is it something that cannot work? So we must agree on those things beforehand. We must. And then so in sharing tips and making it practical, I'll say one, into any collaboration, know yourself. Know yourself. Know your strength. Acknowledge your strength. Acknowledge your weaknesses. That's like number one. Number two is to verbalize and, if possible, write down your expectations. What are you expecting partnership? What are you expecting from this collaboration? What do you want to achieve? How do you want your relationship with this your partner and this new venture? What do you want to achieve with it? Number three, bring in legal support. Bring in legal support for what you're doing. You know, bring in legal support. Oh my goodness, are we having technical issues? Are we good? Are we good?
Yes, we are. Just went off. I can't explain what happened. Please go on topic. Please, I'm so sorry about that. Okay. I'd like to apologize for that. Please go on.
Was it still streaming? Was it still?
Yes, it was. It was.
So while you went on, I mentioned that number one, knowing yourself is important for collaboration. And I said knowing your weaknesses. Number two, I mentioned that it's important you set expectations, verbalize it, write it down, ask for your partner, your business partners. Ask that person, what are you expecting from me to do? Do you want me in the office every day? Do you want me on the phone with clients every day? Which area of this business am I handling? Have it clearly written down. Number three, legal experts. Have a legal framework for your partnership. Have it capture your expectations. Have it capture what bringing to the table. That's very legally binding. Before you put your money into any collaboration, have a legal. I know friendship. Please be sending money down into any collaboration, even if the person is your best friend from when you were 3 years old. You will realize how money will scatter that friendship. This person, you've known this person. You went to the same primary school, secondary school. You were household neighbors. All of you were doing birthdays together. Have limitation of how your partnership is going to be. Put boundaries, put expectations, have it legally captured so as to avoid stories. Put it down in written terms. And going to the number fourth part, give yourself a legal agree that this is our conflict resolution model. Me, I will report you to A. When I annoy you, report me to A. This person A or Pastor A or Imam A, whoever it is, that person is the one that will choose so that we don't break up. So that we don't lose our friendship, so that we don't lose our partnership. This is the person that we both respect. Listen to anything this person says. If you with this person will be neutral, but I will break the ice. If both of us are supposed to decide and we don't agree, you must have that person already on ground with the business. You must go and carry that business and tell the person that Pastor or Imam A, Mr. A, Coach A, this is what you'll be doing for us. Myself and Pastor Bisi are going into a business relationship. This is where we think you can help us out. It might be your lawyer, but have that clearly stated out that this is how we will resolve conflicts. It is very, very important. Everywhere. Children have conflicts. Parents have conflicts. Yeah. They say your tongue and your teeth, they have conflicts together. So really, there is no way you can avoid having conflict. It will happen. When it happens, what do? Have solutions, have a framework, that would help conflicts faster.
Conflicts faster. Okay, can I come in here? When we started off, you said something about knowing yourself and things like that. I just want you to speak to us as parents out there. I mean, like, you said something about as women, as the female gender is not given so much opportunities growing up. And so you don't so much know how to how to have anything without competing. So speak to people who are listening to us. How can we help the younger ones so that they can thrive, they can be comfortable in their skin to get into collaborations with other people? So Bisi can look at Tope, and I don't see Tope as a rival. I understand my strengths. Speak to us as parents. What would you advise?
This is how I would say it. I think that as it says, I don't have it all figured yet. That's the truth. Yesterday I was looking at my children's results without swings. It is extremely difficult not to compare things, and they are both boys and they're both identical. So it's now when I see their results, I always look at what did I get in maths? What did they get in this one? What did I get? So, and I had to tell myself this year that I wasn't going to do that. That I would benchmark David with David, and I'll benchmark Daniel with that. I will not look at their work jobs and say, oh, David got 20 in 3 subjects, got 20 in 1 subject. So, because what you're doing when you do that is to make one child feel not good enough and giving the child complex from such a young age. So I feel that one, don't compare your children between themselves. Don't compare your children between themselves and their friends. Even when you think it, never ever say it. Never ever say it. People tell me one child is finer than the other. I tell them, don't say it. Every child is beautiful. Don't come and tell me, this is your last born. Now you vomit him. He looks exactly, he's just so fine. Thank you. Keep it in your mind. I say it. I tell people that tell me that. I tell you need to protect your children because they will get bashing from outside. Don't bash them inside. They will get enough bashing from their colleagues. They will get enough bashing outside. Don't bash them inside.
Can I also say, I mean, a lot of times, I do parenting, so I understand these things. A lot of times, some of us don't even say it. Some parents don't say it, but they act it, they live it. I mean, like the body language is there. Okay, Tope has vouched now. She's not going to compare David to Daniel, right? She's not going to do that. But the point is, sometimes we don't even say it. We have to be careful that we don't act it. Our body language doesn't say the same. I'd also like to say, to add to what you've said, okay, that one of the ways we can help the girl child, our female children, to grow up to understand collaboration as being healthy and to have healthy competitions if they must, is that we are, as parents also, must not live such lives. And so if my children watch me in their growing up years, that I'm always competing with Ronke, with Funke, with all my friends, and the things I say. I mean, like your neighbors come round and you're peeping and you're like, her husband just got a new car, and you're hounding your husband. Before you know it, what you're doing now is you're sowing that same seed in the hearts and the lives of your children. And so your daughter, absolutely. And so your daughter just grows up believing that every female is in competition with her. And so she goes to a party, you're dressing your daughter up for a party, and you're doing up her hair, and you're wearing the ribbon, and the girl is wriggling. She's not a ribbon person. I'm not your frills and dresses type of kind of person either. And the girl is obviously feeling uncomfortable. And the next thing you're saying to her, you smack her on her back, and you go to her, put your head still, stay still. Haven't you seen the way Ronke's daughter always looks? I think these are things, because I recall you said that when you started. These are things that our daughters go in through and then they go through such lives, and they tend to believe that life is all about competition. I think that's another area we can help as well. Is there another thing we can do as parents, do you think?
Okay, so I think that we need to verbalize our children's strengths to them, and we need to verbalize the fact that it's okay to be different. I think we need to say over and over, it's okay to be different. It's okay, you be different. I have a son that stammers. I make him keep quiet, let him say what he wants to say. Let him say it, don't help him to say it. Let him say it the way he wants it. If he's going to stammer, let him stammer. In class, I make his teacher know he stammers. He will not want to answer questions, make him talk. Just tell him. Let the children, he stammer. It doesn't mean that he got not cannot talk, it doesn't mean that it is not called stammer his way and he will still land at the right point. So I think we should verbalize people's strength for them. But there's something I learned from him, and it is that our first job as parents is to observe. Our first job as parents is to observe our children, because they come complete. They are complete human beings. Observe them. I think invariably in this meeting too, observe yourself. Observe yourself. Self-awareness is the key to self-development. What makes me feel down? What makes me feel happy? Why am I like this? What makes me feel discontent? Then observing, you understand what am I doing that puts me in a bad mood, that puts me in a bad state of mind. So it is important that we ourselves and be aware of our state of mind, our state of thoughts, our state of emotion. Observe our children. What do they lean towards? What are they doing? My kids like music. If I want to wake them up without crying, once I music, they jump up from the bed happily singing. Like, you don't need to say get into their room, even if it is 3 a.m. play music, they will and sing. So when you know what possibly children to achieve what you want, by observing them, you would lay them, set the success, not setting them up for failure. Set them up to be happy, not set them up to be crying. So I think that observation is very important, and verbalize, encouraging them, speaking life to them in front, so they are hearing you saying it, and also modeling. On modeling, you spoke about it.
Role modeling.
They look at it. So I have a child that wants to do many businesses. Today it is catering, tomorrow is something. I know why he wants to do that, because he sees his mom doing this, doing that. He's so excited. Oh, my dad has staff, they work for him. He pays their salary, he pays them salary, So, and this is just as at 7, he wants to do his wife. He's seeing all things. So that is his wiring. I was into the corporate world, so that it means that you can be successful in the corporate world as well. But just let them have because myself and my husband were the only thing he's saying is entrepreneurship. He's not saying success in the corporate world. So I tell him, your Uncle Willie is a general manager in a bank. He's a general manager. That means he can fire people. I said, yes, he can fire. There are other places you can achieve something to do with entrepreneurship. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Okay, I'd like to say this. Like a lot of people have said, one of the reasons why they're not doing stuff with other females is because of the bad experiences they've had. And I'd like to say I used to be like that. Growing up, women, the way we see, they're talking, gossiping and things like that. Of course, I've gotten my fingers burnt. And so even after I gave my life to Christ, I had this challenge. And so I would be careful around women. I'd feel more comfortable talking with a guy. I'm having a conversation with a guy. I leave him. I know he's not thinking, he's not twisting whatever it is I've said. He understands that if I've said, you're good, you're good. And so this happened to me. I'm talking about the experiences we've had. Kind of darkening our vision and not allowing us to enter into other relationships. And so even after I gave my life to Christ, I'll see women in ministry. I'll look at them and just shake my head and feel sorry for them. And I'm serious about this. I'd actually feel sorry for them. I'll look at them, I'll be like, how can you be walking with women? How do you deal with them? How do you, the way, someone said sometimes when I talk, I don't talk as if I'm a woman. But that thing at the back of my mind. And so that kind of restrained me from getting into good relationships. And so someone is talking to me about some person. Okay, let me give a very good example now that we're talking about it. There's this very good friend of mine. Her name is Bola Olawale, a publisher of Gem magazine. I remember the first time I was supposed to have met her was in a church where her husband was pastoring. And someone had said to her that, Bola, there's this friend of mine, Bisi, she's in your church now, you like her, and so she was always waiting for me to come and see her because my friend said to me, Bisi, just walk up to her office. But every time where I saw Bola, I always saw a lot of women milling around her, and that was a put off for me. And so I'll just walk past her in church, I won't say anything to her. And so one day, finally, we met in my friend's office. And she said, this is Bisi. this is Bola. And she was like, I've been wanting to meet you. XYZ had said you were going to come meet me. I said, yes. Each time I saw you, I saw women around you, and I just wasn't comfortable with that. I mean, I'm sure she was shocked. But guess what? The idea that I felt that all women are gossips, most women are confused, most women are this, it was a loss. Because now I got into a relationship with Bola Olawale, and the collaboration is just so amazing. The networking I've been able to do through her, and I guess the same. So when we fail to relax our guard, when we're overtly careful and say to ourselves, because I've gotten my fingers burned, I'm not going to do this with women again, we lose out. I mean, Tope, I'm sure you would have something to say. Do you have any experience like that?
Oh, okay, risk taker.
Good.
I'm a risk taker. I don't conclude on people. So I think that because I've been a recipient of many times very early in my life, so I've learned not to conclude on people. I always believe that I give excuses for people. So I never personally haven't been in that space where I've had a negative conclusion that, oh, this is. It's not. I always feel that even if you're a bad person, there's good in you, and that's been my bringing right from time. Like, I'm not even conscious of how I developed that belief system, but I actually have it. I believe no matter how terrible people say a person is, that this person, you still find out that this person, some people will tell you they owe their life to this person. And according to many people, they are a horrible person. So I'm of the opinion that many of us have belief systems in us, beliefs that are disempowering, beliefs that are that demoralize us, and we have so taken like it's dogma, like it is. We take it like it's a word that cannot be changed, but it is just it might be a fact. It's not the truth. The truth is that every human being is created in God's image, and human beings can be horrible yesterday and good tomorrow. Human beings, a girl can be a gossip up until she marries, and her husband talks the gossip out of her. People change, but we don't like to hear it. We like to believe that people are always the same. I have changed so many things about me, and because I am that person who's been on the receiving end of many people saying this is the way she is. I am a very tall person. I used to be very, 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 very talkative. As a child, I grew very. People say I'm too introverted. Then because I don't talk, people say I'm snobbish. Then people say, like I've been on the receiving end of many mentions, and I'm looking at myself like, me, wow, me, like this me that I know myself.
I know, I've been there.
Am I so because I've been on that receiving, and I am not a parapor person. I don't know how to say. I'm not a cliquish person. Never been in that. You are in school, you see them 3 friends, a group of 5. I've never formed cliques like that. So I've always been the one outside, and I hear things about me. So I've learned not to take people that I hear those things seriously. I just say, until I know me your color by yourself, that's who you are. And until you prove that you cannot be forgiven, then you cannot be forgiven. But if you ask forgiveness, you'll be forgiven. That's my own nature. But I know that not every many people have been brought up with parents who have sown seeds that it's a struggle for them to like, they don't believe it is a truth. They can't break free from it. Every time they see anybody, they are suspicious of everybody. They see success, they feel there's something fishy about the success. They see something wrong in that marriage. They just have been brought up. I think that it is a time. I'm not someone that pushes for deliverance, but I believe people need deliverance from it. Some people need to be delivered from it. They need to free their mind from those blockages that have been put in by their environment. I can't blame some people. They grew up in polygamous homes. They are the ones that they are younger, their senior ones ate the soup, and the senior one fell ill. They don't understand why you are so trusting. They don't understand why you believe people are good. Only thing they see of people evil. So you can't blame them, but you don't have to show them that it is not all evil. Not all partnerships fail. Collaborations will not work out. Even if the collaboration falls out, thankfully, as God will have it, I am wearing a dress. This dress was made by one of my big sisters, the tailor. We were supposed to be collaboration in 2019. Money got involved, but I did not explain with you people. I did follow the steps. And the collaboration, I told her I want to, I like modeling. I used to model clothes easily. Let's do a collaboration. We just by our mouth opened Instagram page, started designing and sketching. No framework for expectation. And then I dropped. And then Christmas, December rush came. She didn't use our outfits. And many things flashed through my mind. Like, I could have taken it personal. Like, I entrusted money with you. We had a business, but we did not discuss everything. He's still my friend. She's still my prayer partner. She'll still say, we have not even totally resolved the money issue, but I know she's a good person. That partnership did not work. Absolutely. Does not mean she's a bad person. The partnership might have failed, but the human beings involved are not bad people. They did not prepare. She and I didn't prepare for that relationship. We were setting ourselves. It was even good if failure happened early, because if it had happened later, it would have been more catastrophic. So I would say that even if I did a Facebook Live 2 days ago, I think you try again. Some people will not date men because they've not going to relationship because they've been heartbroken. Listen, there are bad men. You will meet the good one, but if you close your eyes that you don't want to see a bad man, the good one will walk past and you will not see the person. So try again.
Okay, so I have to stop you there for a while.
Oh, okay.
So sorry, there's a question here.
I was giving room for conversation because if you play, I will just.
I know, I'm like that too. So okay, so let me come here. Yewande is saying here on YouTube, she says my second daughter is very competitive and she's just 11. I've tried to make her understand in life you can't win it all. How do I really make her understand this? Did you hear that, Tope?
I heard you. So I'll say that that if your child is very competitive, regardless of, like, that's how she is by nature, I think we should nurture it. You know, I said as parents we're supposed to, our first assignment is to observe. So you observe your child. It can be the driving force for their success. That's competition. What we should now do, create a framework that will ensure that they have values within that competition. They have values. Like, they don't cut corners on the journey to succeed. You know, some people will be like, I want to win this race. If I'm running and somebody falls down, I won't help the push people. They would cut corners to achieve their success. If you have a child that is very competitive, I think your main assignment will be putting value to help the child that I mustn't become desperate enough to lose this value. I must not cross these boundaries. I must not hurt people because I want to win the race. I must not talk bad about people because I want to be liked by others. So it is about create a bit of, but don't dim that competition. Don't dim the competitiveness in the child, because it's a strength for that child.
Okay, can I also say this, Yewande? Thank you very much for that, Tope. Just to follow up on what Yewande has what Tope has said. Yewande, can I also say, I mean, when you're talking values, if your child understands kindness is allowing other people to win and enjoying their win with them. That's kindness, that's love. So if we're talking values now, you may need to inculcate in her the value of kindness. Kindness is okay. I hand it to you, Tope, you deserve to win. That way the competitiveness in her there's a balance. She's still competitive, but she's able to accept and accommodate other people outshining her sometimes. And you see, that's the problem with most of us. We are not able to embrace other people's win. We cannot embrace it. A lot of people cannot do that. It's a huge deal. I mean, like, you go on Tokpe's Instagram page, you see her, how many likes? 12,000 likes. And you're saying to yourself, what is she even doing? Maybe she's only dancing. The point is, she's doing it. She's intentional about it. Enjoy what she's doing. If you need to learn from her, learn from her. And then someday tomorrow, it's you doing the same thing. So I believe, Jewande, what you need to do is teach your daughter to embrace other people winning. The values of kindness, and what comes to my mind is just the fruit of the Spirit. The Bible is my only point of reference. So kindness, love, temperance, all these things will help her. And you're going to say something, Tope?
No, I'm just nodding.
Yes. So all these things are the fantastic. All these things are those that would help you. Like I shared in one of our episodes, I think it was when I was on with Debola Atoyebi, and we were talking, and I said something. I said, I even in church, you see people share testimonies, and so Yowade comes up and shares a testimony about herself and whatever. And the next thing is Bisi is printing top. I don't mind them. We know how they got their money. Do you understand? That kind of person is not operating the fruit of the Spirit. I see. So you see everybody's win as being clouded, and you're the only one whose win is genuine, whose win is legitimate. So I think the fruit of the Spirit, I'm saying this because that's just the only way I think this can happen. Okay. Michael says, hi, Pastor Michael, how are you? So good to have you. He says, God bless you for that, Tope. Please note is not a common space. Yes, I think she's referring to the point where you said that you're not envious, you're not competitive and whatever. I think that was about the time she said, Tope, a lot of people need to hear this, just you said. You still pray with her and still believe in her. That's your friend, or the one that you did business with and it didn't work. She says many would have judged and hacked people down. I've been at the receiving end of this. Yes, you're very right, Pastor Mayakun. A lot of times we do things that God has not called us to do with some people. That's what she said earlier. The fact that Tope is my friend does not mean I'm called to do business with Tope. That's just the way it is. And the point is, we just lump everything together. Because she's my friend, we can do business together. Because she's my friend, she can do marriage counseling for me. Because no, we need to step back and evaluate. And that's what Tope said she didn't do. But they are still friends. So we must mature, right? Tope, we must all mature to the point that even when things don't work out, we do not judge the person. We just understand that this is a situation that didn't go well, right?
Yeah. Let me quickly just add this. I'm currently in the real estate and investment space, and because I'm talking to many people that are potential investors, many of them have been burnt. So the money went away. I'm not doing it again, or help me call out this person. And I told them, I said, I'm a businesswoman. I've been in business all my life. I've never worked for someone from the show I'm doing. I've never had to. And I understand how you can set the emotion. You write your business proposal, you put it all together, you source for funds, and you were legitimate. Stroke of negative luck, their plan useless. The person did not default. I now asked him, I said, is the person communicating with you on why they have not been able to pay your returns? He said, yes. I said, did they tell you what happened to them? He said, yes. So why do you think the person has come? The person experienced life in a negative way. The person has not said, I will not pay you your money. The person only told you, I have suffered loss in 2020. I did not get what I was expecting. I will. And many times we conclude negatively because we believe everybody is evil. This is, and I know that there's people that are pure scam, like they are 100% scammers. But there are legitimate people out there whose businesses suffered. There was a man came to speak at ELT, and he said that he had built a lot of houses in Abuja. I can, because I listen to, I buy tape for my church program, and I can't remember his name right now, but he said he built houses and the government demolished it. And he had already sold out most of the house. It took him over years to pay everybody back. but he paid them back. Now, somebody that did not get paid in the first 2 years would feel like this person scammed me. You did not get documentation, but after years, the government paid him for that place. So some legitimate businesses suffer loss.
So collaboration means
we ourselves that's negative, and so we must be willing to forgive people and understand things from their own point of. We must be willing to let things go and open up ourselves for more opportunities to come.
Can I hold you there? Okay, someone says here, that's Wellness Boss talking, that's Chris, she was my guest last month. She says it's vital to understand your nature, the good, the bad, and ugly, then do your utmost not to deny the ugly part of you. Also, acknowledge them while pushing the good. So understand the fact that these are negatives in my life. But while you're pushing the good, please don't forget the bad. And while you're pushing the bad, don't also forget the good. Okay. So here, Michael says, wow, she's okay. Sorry, hold on, please. I need to read this. Please. She said, people use events to tag and label you. We are not the events. Many ingredients mix up to create one event. And I agree with you absolutely, Mayokon. Some things just happen, like Tope said. She says, people use events to tag and label you. So because Tope defaulted concerning this land area due to circumstances beyond her control, Tope is not that event. The ingredients that mix this up is what created the event. And I believe that's what you said earlier, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I like what Chris said. The fact that I mentioned it, but I tend to focus more on strength and weaknesses. That observe yourself, know your strengths. People tend to tag you based on bad news travels faster. So I tend to let people remember more of their strengths, because everybody around you will remind you of your weaknesses. Everybody. Most cases, they will remember your weaknesses more than your strengths. So you be aware of your weaknesses, but focus on your strengths, so that you are not feeling weighed down by how imperfect. When I was feeling like, man, are you that bad? You're not that bad now. This is a part you're working on, but it doesn't look bad. You're a very good person. So you need to now remember of your strengths and highlight it. And maybe it might also help to create action plans for how you want to work on your weak areas. So you feel you're doing something about it. Like I'm doing something to help myself. So I'm not feeling like I'm so weak in these areas, because you feel I'm applying a bit of effort into getting better there.
Fantastic. I'd like to say this also. Since we're talking collaboration, can I just say this to you out there? They're good people, they're bad people. But honestly, if you don't try, how are you going to know the good people? And we should be careful, really. There was a time we needed to have an event, okay? And of course, it was a non-fee paying event. And so we didn't have funds coming from anywhere. We needed a hall for a venue. And so we couldn't raise the money for the venue. And so we're at an event, a very big event, annual event. And there was this young person, this beautiful woman sitting in front of me, a table away from me. And as I sat there, I heard the Holy Spirit say to me, ask her for the use of her hall for your event. When I heard that, I'm talking collaboration. I'm talking being careful not to label and tag people. I looked at her. I looked at the ministry and what the office she operates in. And I said to myself, then this small girl will come and say no to me. That was my initial reaction. That was me, the prideful me, right? Saying someone has pride. Do you get? Because a lot of times we often will judge people by what we are, really. And so, I did think it was pride in me. And so I'm looking at her and say, and then she say no to me. I don't want wahala. Let her just stay her own. Let me stay on my lane. And again, I heard the Holy Spirit say to me, Bisi, ask her for the use of her venue. And so we're talking collaboration, ladies. Listen to me. We must dare to venture. And so I tapped her on her shoulder. And I'm like, sorry, can I speak to you? And so I moved closer to her and I'm like, we're having this event. And she looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, we don't rent it out. I wanted to die where I sat. That was the initial response. When I heard that, I said, Bisi, see yourself, shake body. Who sent you? I'm sure it wasn't the Holy Spirit. And then, so the minute she said that, I wasn't hearing anything again. But apparently she was saying to me, but you know what? Call me later. we'll talk about this. I wasn't hearing that again. All I heard was, we don't give it up. I said, see yourself. Who sent you? Well, but then I had the Holy Spirit say to me again, she's still talking, she's still speaking. And so I'm like, I didn't hear you because it was a noisy hall. And she said, can you call me? We could talk about this. We talked to her. I called her later. That was when I found out that she really wasn't giving that place out to rent for other use apart from what God had called her to, because God had given her strict instructions not to let other people come because it was an altar designed for him. She said, but the Holy Spirit was speaking to her that it was okay for her to give it to us, free of use. Exactly. There I was saying that because the way she dresses, the way she looks, the kind of person she is in the society, she wasn't going to give me attention. And I already made up my mind. So sometimes, ladies out there, I'm talking to us all out there, a lot of times we judge people without giving them an opportunity. And when we do that, we are at the losing end. We lose out ultimately because I got that hall for free, a hall that would have gone for maybe 700,000 naira or close to $1 million. I got it for free. And if I hadn't dared to do that, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. So, Taka, we need to begin to wrap up. What's your parting word for everybody listening there? It's been nice having you. I knew it was going to be this way. So please go on.
So I would say that everything in life is a risk. Everything in life is a risk. You're in your house, it's risky. You're going out, it's risky. Riding a car, risky. Going in a plane, risky. Entering a partnership, risky. Not entering a partnership, risky. Everything about this world is risky. Don't shy away from taking risk. Don't shrink back from taking risk. I want everyone watching to step out confidently. Take those risks, because if you close your eyes towards failure, success will through you. So I'm going to encourage every one of you. My final word will be take risk towards collaboration. Collaboration is wonderful. Collaboration is beautiful. Collaboration will take you farther. One chasing 1,000, two of you together, you will chase 10,000. So take collaboration and you will definitely succeed.
Thank you very much. Chris says here, projection is a thing. You give out what you have and what you are. If you're a negative person, only vibes you give out are negatives. If you read negative meanings into everything, they do loosen our bait. I mean, I was sharing with a group of ladies on Sunday. We have this Zoom meeting, Bible study. And we were talking about life issues this Sunday, and I was sharing with them. And I said to them, a lot of us receive what we diffuse is what we get. The bad negative energy, you have people negative energy with you. You're a gossip, you probably would have a lot of women who are in your circle who are gossips. You're full of pride, you probably would attract such people because they would. So like Chris has said here, what you project a lot of times is what you receive. And she says, yes, it was really great listening to you, but thank you very much. Chris says, I remember the whole story. I tell this story every time because I know what I would have missed out, because it now went beyond the whole topic. And this amazing woman, I have a very deep relationship with her now, but it would never have happened if I didn't dare to take the risk of going out and talking to her. So I took the risk and it played out. I didn't just get a hall for free. I have a relationship that has evolved into more relationships. It was even that relationship that got me talking on this program today. So thank you very much for that. Yes, thank you, Chris. Take risk, step out. Come on now, Tope. Thank you very much, Tope. It's really been nice having you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you think there's anybody who needs to hear this conversation, they go to my YouTube channel. My name is Bisi Ibitaya. I'm safe to inspire, and that's all I want to do with my life. There are good people out there, and if you haven't met them, why don't you try being a good person, and you'll be amazed at how much you can reach out and be a blessing to life. Tope, you're an amazing person. Beyond your smile and your dance steps, you have some depth in you, and I believe, God, that you will go far. Thank you very much for being with us today on this program. I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you very much, Tope. Bye-bye. I'd like to say thank you to everybody for joining us today. So till I see you next time, my name is Bisi Ibitaya. If anybody needs to catch up on this, like I said earlier, let them go to my YouTube channel, Bisi Ibitaya. It's been a great time having you here today. Thank you very much. The Lord bless you all. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.